Yo! If you're playing Dragon Traveler and you're new or you're below level 100, this video is going to save you a ton of time, gems, and frustration. Because I'm now over level 100 and I'm going to tell you the biggest things I wish I knew earlier, plus a bunch of tips that will help you level faster, build smarter, and avoid wasting resources. Quick note before we start, I'm a free-to-play player, no whaling here, no crazy spending, so everything I'm sharing is based on doing things the most efficient way possible with limited resources. And if you're watching this right now and you're feeling stuck or you feel like your account is all over the place, trust me, you can fix it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to focus on, what to stop doing immediately, and what will actually matter once you hit level 100 and beyond. So first, let's talk about what the game actually becomes after level 100, because this is the thing nobody explains early on. Before level 100, it feels like the whole point is collecting champions, upgrading whoever you like, and just pushing through content. But once you get past level 100, the game shifts hard into being class-focused. Your progress starts to depend way more on your class levels and class ranks than on having a giant collection of half-built champions. So if you build the wrong way early, you don't just slow yourself down for a day or two, you slow yourself down for weeks. And that's why these tips matter so much, because you can set yourself up now so that once you reach 100, everything becomes smoother instead of becoming a grindy wall. Alright, tip number 1, and this is the biggest thing I wish I understood sooner. Do not waste gems on every new unlocked champion. I know it's tempting. You unlock a new champion, they look cool, you want to try them. Maybe they have a different vibe, different skills, different animations, and it feels like you should grab them because you might need them later. But here's the truth. If you're free to play, you can't afford to build everyone, and the game doesn't reward you for trying to build everyone early. What the game rewards you for is building smart. Dragon Traveler is built around classes, and once you're over level 100, you will need to max out each class to level 100. The most effective way to do this is to only max out one champion of each class. One per class, that's the rule. Because when you focus on one champion per class, you're consolidating your resources. You're not splitting your crystals, your upgrade materials, and your time across multiple champions that all need the same type of investment. So instead of having 3 half-upgraded champions in one class, you have one fully upgraded champion that actually pushes content and that later helps your entire class progression. And the biggest mistake is people see a new champion in the same class they're already building, and they start spending gems to unlock them, and then they start investing in them too. That is how you burn your resources and slow your progress to a crawl. So what should you do instead? Pick your favorite champion in each class or pick the most useful one in each class and commit. If you already have a strong champion in a class, you do not need to chase another one in the same class just because it's new. You can still unlock them later, you can still collect them later, but do not spend your gems and crystals in a way that delays you from maxing one champion per class. Because once you are above level 100, the grind becomes all about completing classes, and if you don't have that foundation, you're going to feel like you're always behind. Tip number 2 is the fix your account tip, and it's a lifesaver. You can reset your star level. So if you're listening to tip 1 and thinking, okay, I already messed this up, I already spent points and resources into more than one champion per class, don't panic. You can refund it. You can reset your star level and you get your resources back. This is huge because it means you can clean up your choices and rebuild properly. And I'm going to say something important here. Resetting isn't admitting you failed. Resetting is being efficient. It's how you turn wasted progress into focused progress. So if you've got 2 or 3 champions in one class that you've thrown resources into, ask yourself, which one am I actually going to max? Which one feels best? Which one performs best for the content I'm doing? Pick that one, reset the others, reclaim your resources, and dump everything into the single champion you chose. This one change makes your account feel instantly stronger. And also because it's a time thing, not just a resource thing. When you spread upgrades across multiple champions, you don't just waste crystals, you waste days of farming. Resetting lets you undo that and get back on track fast. So use it if you need to. Don't sit there struggling with an inefficient setup just because you already started it. Fix it now and your future self will thank you. Tip number 3 is the most confusing mechanic in the game, but once you understand it, everything clicks. When you hit level 100, with 5 players, you can unlock the next stage. A lot of players think this will max out their champions like it did earlier, but now it works differently. It no longer maxes out just your champion, it maxes out the class of the champion. And this is massive, because it's not just for that one champion, it applies to every champion of that class. So even if you have level 1 champions sitting there that you never touched, once you max the class, they benefit. That means your account power starts to scale in a completely different way. You're no longer only improving the 5 champions you built, you're improving the whole class across your entire roster. So what's the strategy here? The strategy is to max every class by focusing on at least one champion of each class to level 100. That's your baseline goal. Then, once that champion is at level 100, you rank them up over that level. And why do you rank them up past 100? Because that unlocks class max rank for every champion. And when you do that for every class, your entire champion pool becomes usable, not just the 5 champions you originally maxed out. This is one of the best feelings in the game because suddenly you can pull a new champion and actually use them without needing to dump weeks of resources into them. You're basically building an account-wide power system instead of building 5 individual characters. Now I want to pause here and give you a quick new player roadmap, because if you're below 100, you might be thinking, okay, what do I do tomorrow when I log in? Here's a simple plan. First, identify all the classes. Then pick one champion in each class that you're going to commit to. Don't overthink it. Pick the one you like using, or the one that feels strongest to you. Then focus your upgrades primarily on those champions and keep your resources tight. Anytime you feel tempted to invest in a second champion in the same class, stop and ask, is this helping me max the class faster, or is this just distracting me? 90% of the time, it's a distraction. Tip number 4 is what happens after you max your champions, because this is where a lot of people get lost. Once you've maxed out your champions, a lot of resources stop feeling as important, not because they're useless, but because your priorities change. At that point, you're not struggling to unlock basic skills anymore. You're not struggling to push levels on a champion. Instead, you're putting everything into ranking up your class levels to 50 on each class. This is the long-term grind, and it takes time. But here's the good news. As free-to-play, you can take your time here, and your account will still improve steadily as long as you focus on the right thing. And the right thing is Wyrm Essence. Let me be super clear. Wyrm Essence is the biggest roadblock in the entire game. It is the resource that will slow you down the most. It's the hardest to get in large amounts as free to play, and you will need it constantly to level up your class levels. So what should you be doing every day? You should be focusing on missions and side quests that give Wyrm Essence. If you have a choice between a mission that gives you some generic resources and a mission that gives Wyrm Essence, pick the Wyrm Essence. Because later you can farm most resources fairly easily, but Wyrm Essence is the thing that makes you feel stuck if you ignore it early. And here's a mindset shift that helps. Think of Wyrm Essence like the endgame currency. You might not feel the pain right away below level 100, but above 100 you'll feel it constantly. So if you start building the habit now of prioritizing Wyrm Essence missions, you'll progress way smoother. And also, once you're over level 100, Gacha pulls become way more valuable, because any new champion you pull will be maxed out with all skills unlocked, or at least they'll be in a much better state where you don't have to waste resources just trying to catch them up. That means pulling new champions after 100 feels amazing because you can actually try them. You can swap them into your team, you can experiment, and you're not locked into your original 5. This is why your goal is not collect everything immediately. Your goal is build a strong class foundation so that collecting later is actually useful. Tip number 5 is about resources and efficiency before and after level 100, and it's a really smart strategy. Story mode is something you can do to get resources fast, but you also need to do the side missions and content to maximize all the resources you can. Story mode is great because it gives you a quick injection of materials, and if you're trying to push a champion to a breakpoint, story mode helps. But the side content is what builds your account long term. The side missions often include the currencies and materials that you'll need later, especially Wyrm Essence. So don't tunnel vision only on story progression. Mix it up. Push story when you need a burst of resources, and then rotate back into side missions to keep your account growing efficiently. And here's the big Gacha ticket tip, and it's one of the best things you can do as free to play. If you have your 5 champions sorted before level 100, save and collect your Gacha tickets until after level 100. Don't panic pull every time you get a ticket. Save them, because once you hit 100, when you use those tickets, the champions you pull will be in a much better state with skills maxed out, and you won't have to waste resources on them. It feels like you're delaying gratification, but it pays off huge. It turns your post-100 experience into something fun instead of something stressful. And here's a quick example. Player A pulls every time they get tickets, constantly unlocking new champions early, then they feel pressured to invest in them, then they run out of resources, then they get stuck. Player B focuses on building their core champions first, saves tickets, hits level 100 with a strong foundation, then pulls and suddenly has a bunch of champions that are ready to use. Player B ends up having more fun and progressing faster, even though they pulled less early. So if you want the smooth experience, be Player B. Tip number 6, and this is one that can quietly waste your gear if you don't know it. Make sure you have weapons and armor equipped before upgrading them on your champions. This is really important because when you upgrade weapons and armor, the game can use your old weapons and armor as resources. So if you've got a champion running around with empty slots or weak gear not equipped, and you start upgrading randomly, you might accidentally feed good pieces into upgrades, or you might end up upgrading something without properly setting your build first. The smart move is this: deck out your champions first. Put the best weapons and armor you currently have onto the champions you're actively using. Make sure your main 5 are fully equipped, and only then start upgrading gear. That way you're upgrading with a plan, you're not accidentally sacrificing something you should be wearing, and you're getting the maximum power increase from every upgrade. Think of it like this: equipping first makes sure the strongest gear stays on your team, and upgrading second makes sure you're improving the gear that actually matters. Now I want to expand that with a quick gear mindset to make it simple. Early game, it's easy to treat gear like it's separate from your champion upgrades, but it's all connected. If you upgrade a weapon that isn't even being used, you just wasted resources. If you upgrade armor while your main champion has an empty slot, you're not getting the full benefit of your investment. So always do it in this order. Equip your best gear on your main champions first, then upgrade the gear that's currently equipped. Then if you replace something later, you can decide what to do with the old piece. That keeps your account efficient, and it prevents those moments where you realize you fed a good item into an upgrade because you didn't notice it wasn't equipped. Alright, now let's do a quick recap in a way that you can remember easily. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember these 6 rules. Rule 1, don't waste gems on every new champion, build 1 champion per class. Rule 2, if you messed up, reset star level and refund your resources. Rule 3, after level 5 with 5 players, you're maxing the class, not just the champion, and it affects all champions of that class. Rule 4, after you max champions, focus on class levels to 50 and prioritize Wyrm Essence above almost everything. Rule 5, story mode is good for quick resources, but side content matters, and if your core team is ready before 100, save your Gacha tickets until after 100 so your pulls are way more valuable. And Rule 6, always equip weapons and armor before upgrading, because upgrades can consume old gear as resources, so deck out your champions first and only upgrade what you're actually using. And yeah, that's everything I wish I knew in Dragon Traveler before and after I hit level 100. If you're below 100 and you follow this, you're going to have a much smoother time, you're going to waste way less, and you're going to hit the end game with an account that actually feels strong. If this helped you, drop a comment with your current level and which class you're focusing first. And if you want a follow-up, tell me and I'll make one on the best free-to-play class order to max, how to farm Wyrm Essence faster, and how to build your most efficient perfect 5 before level 100. Thanks for watching, good luck in Dragon Traveler, and I'll catch you in the next one.